moment. You know, if you want to be ridiculous and let a note really sing like this, you know, or maybe you go and you play in an area of the guitar that's normally a little bit risky for sustain, this guitar will reward you for taking that risk. Listen to that. Hello and welcome to the Guitar Collection. Today I'm going to be sharing with you this wonderful guitar by the Australian luthier Kim Lissarrague from the year 2023. This one being his 398th guitar. Now, those of you that have not been living under a rock have probably heard of the name Kim Lissarrague. In fact, I hear it so often because so many of my guitarist friends and colleagues that are professionals have been writing me saying like, hey, have you tried one of these Kim Lissarrague guitars? It's incredible. They're so loud and they have a beautiful sound. You know, they say all these really nice things about them. I say, yes, I have reviewed some. I have some posted on the channel as well. But no, I love hearing this enthusiasm for these guitars, and these tend to have that impact on players. When you just play a few notes on it, you will be shocked. Now, I also have to say, before we get into the sound of it, you will also be shocked by the weight. These are very similar weight to Greg Smallman guitars, the heavier Australian guitars. This thing is an anchor in your lap, and that's both good and bad, right? When you go to reach from the guitar stand to pick it up, you might get a little bit of a workout, but once it's in your lap, I have to say, it is so stable. Now, those of you that have been watching the channel for a while might have noticed that I use these grippy pads often, but with a guitar like this, you really don't need one. You don't need your arms to be touching the guitar. It just feels very secure in your lap, and that is a nice thing about the weight. Of course, that is not why it was designed that way, but more for the projection and sound of the guitar. Now, before we get more into the sound, let's talk a little bit about the specs. This is a cedar top with a latticed brace interior, of course, with carbon reinforcement. You'll notice Kim's really nice rosette here, a 20th fret as well. You'll see a very small, lightweight bridge here, very reminiscent of Greg Smallman's bridges. When you turn the guitar around, there's a star of the show, this beautiful ziricote. This looks like a spaceship to me in the sapwood in the center. There is some slight doming to the back here, of course by design, and you'll notice on the side this really nice sapwood as well. And I almost forgot to mention this very nice armrest that is built in very seamlessly. It's not a super small armrest, but it makes it so comfortable to rest your arm. When moving on to the neck of this guitar, it's exactly to my spec. I mean, to the T. It is C-shaped, it is thin, the action is low, it is very, very easy to play. And when moving on up to the head, you will notice these Pagos tuners with black base plates and Kim Lissarrague's classic head design here, which is very elegant and looks like a piece of ziricote as well on the head. Now, when it comes to the sound of this guitar, a little bit goes a long ways. When you play with the lightest touch, you get a giant sound. And that is so appealing on these guitars. It's actually a guitar where you feel like you have to work less. Now, when you first play a note on this guitar, you'll be surprised. The sound comes out so quickly. And you actually have to make little adjustments in your right hand to learn exactly how it likes to be treated. But once you do, you unlock this ability to relax your right hand, not be forcing the string everywhere in order to get sustain or volume. And your whole body in turn relaxes actually. When the sound comes out very easily on a guitar, your whole body relaxes. It's the weirdest thing. But remember, there's a lot of stress involved when we're practicing a lot, we're trying to perfect a piece, and then when something just comes out so effortlessly, you'd be very surprised how it takes an effect on you. And many of the notes have this really beautiful swell to them. A very natural swell where the volume pulsates a little bit. It's very nice. Let's try something that I try on every guitar, Prelude 11 by Tárrega. You know, hopefully you can hear how dynamic and colorful this guitar can be. And I have to unfortunately say that a lot of times you'll hear people, I think, give very false evaluations of some of these Australian guitars like Greg Smallman, Kim Lissarrague. And they'll say, you know what, they're just about a volume and there's nothing else. And I think to some degree they're actually right, because if you don't take the time to adjust to these guitars, then maybe that's all you will see in it. When you learn how to manipulate your hand to make some of these sounds, it's not like this takes years. It's something you just have to spend more than a couple of minutes with the guitar to notice how to treat it. But once you learn how to do it, you unlock tons of colors. And it's not just from moving your hand like this, you know, more tosto or more ponticello. It's also from changing the angle of your fingers, knowing how deep to push the strings into the sound hole. But you get this gorgeous sound like... or both with equally beautiful overtones, you know? A huge palette of beautiful colors on this thing. And on top of that, sustain that is just ridiculous. Let's try Capricho árabe by Tárrega. Well, hopefully you're getting a chance to hear some of the appeal of this guitar, and it's just one of those guitars that you can trust every single move you make on it. You know, if you want to be ridiculous and let a note really sing like this, you know, or maybe you go and you play in an area of the guitar that's normally a little bit risky for sustain, this guitar will reward you for taking that risk. Listen to that. No matter how exclusive I want those notes to ring, like I stopped the low D here, which can be risky. Just beautiful. Well, okay. If you are interested in this Kim Lissarrague guitar, want to learn more about it, please check out the link in the description, the link to guitarcollection.com. You will see a full album of photos of this guitar, as well as a description for it as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I know the majority of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. YouTube tells me this, so it's a big bummer. Would love to see you here. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this beautiful guitar. And congratulations to Kim Lissarrague. What a beautiful instrument. I will see you in the next video.